Well, hot damn, would you take a look at that? The wheels are actually in the center of the fender. Hey everybody, we're back out here in the garage to get to work on the 53's fenders. It's kind of a little cold outside and rainy, so not going to be doing any sanding or welding out there on the actual truck, but we are still working on getting those wheels centered in the front fender. So I marked it from where we were test fitting it, and I'm going to cut this section out, and then I can take my panel I got over there and we can tack weld it along the top and probably around here once we get everything smoothed out. And then what I'll probably do is I'll leave this section off. Hopefully, I mean, that should be our filler panel for the most part. Might have to get a little bit more there, but I'm going to leave it off until we can go test fit it on the car and really make sure it's going to fit the way we want. Just in case there's some flex that needs to be done here to really make it fit good. So that's the general idea. I'm sure I'll have to do some work to get these bottoms looking good. So we'll see what we come up with, and let's get to it. Alright guys, I tacked it real quick. It was a kind of a dirty tack obviously, but I just tacked it together. That way I can clean the metal and get it ready to, you know, really go through here and get this stuff even. It's not perfect. It's going to need to be hammered and as I go just to get everything lined up. Obviously, I just have to do this section still too. I'm surprised though, other than the fact I did a bad job of cutting, this little area lines up pretty good as far as the way it curves and everything like that. So I was expecting I might have to cut this a little bit and pull it up, but didn't really have to do that. So probably about to go out and just kind of lay it on the truck and see how it's looking. Like I said, this area might need to be pulled out a little bit just because of the way this, especially this side is, but in general, hell yeah. Hey everybody, out here working away as always. About to get to work on the fenders, but I was doing some of the structural stuff that I had talked about in the previous episode, and just kind of was doing that off camera this first couple hours of the day. Not the best, but at least there's a little more structure now in our front support. Got a little bit underneath there on the to hold the bottom of the radiator, not just a top bar, so that'll stop some flexing, and just overall a little more strength on the front end. It's still not great. I'd definitely do it a lot different if I was building this truck from scratch, but you know, I just don't have time to take this thing completely apart and all that stuff while getting it ready for the power tour. So we'll just have to deal with it. It is a rat rod. It's a cool rat rod, but it's a rat rod. So either way, I'm about to start working on the passenger side fender. I've got it pretty much measured. I fit it and I like where it's at, so I'm going to tack it together. And once I'm done tacking it together, we'll take all these clamps off and we'll clean both of these up and get ready to fully weld them and then add in the little filler piece that we need to do. So let's get to it. All right, so we got it tacked and then cleaned up, so I'm getting ready to start putting some good weld in here. And once we're done with this, and maybe even this one, we'll go ahead and get that filler piece in. So back to it. Alright guys, I just chopped up the fenders that I've been using because I don't have any good sheet metal to use, because I don't have any 16 gauge. I've got this whole fender welded and I'm just filling in the piece. So I went ahead and cut that piece, then fit it, and I've got it to where I can tack it most of the way in. I can tack it like here. It's not completely perfect, but I can tack it on this inside seam and then come back and use these clamps to get it where I want on all these outside seams. So I'm about to go ahead and do that. Whew, it's a hot one out today, guys, and I've been welding all day, so it'll get you. All right, back to welding. Alright, I've been out here most of the day now. It's already freaking 3 o'clock. And as you can see, we got our little piece welded in. The whole fender is welded up except for that piece. I still got to create the little end section here, but we got that tacked in. So for the most part, it's a full fender. So I just need to weld all this down, fit this little piece right here, and then a lot of grinding. So almost got one fender done. What a weekend. Hey everybody, another day, more fender work. So that's what we're focused on this week, really, is working on these fenders. So in the last video you saw that I pretty much tacked together the other fender, got all the butt welds done on top side other than that little piece right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing here and get that piece built for this. And then after we finish this off, we'll go ahead and get the other piece tacked up, finish weld on that little addition as well. So just a lot more cutting, a lot more welding, and all the good stuff. So let's get to it. We got a couple welds in, and I ran out of welding wire, so got to refill the wire real quick, and back to welding. All right, we got most of the welding done. Now we got to cut our little piece out and weld that in, but my camera's broke. So the wind blew over the tripod and it smashed, and even before that I noticed that there was a spot on the lens. So yeah, I got to order a new camera. So fun times. So I'll be doing that, and looks like that'll probably be the end of the time lapse for this segment, but hey, at least we got most of the welding and everything done for the fenders. All right, we got everything welded together. I'm not happy too much about this area. I use the stock metal from the original Fenders, and it's kind of, maybe the curve was wrong. I should have just used a piece of flat metal, but there's a little bit of tin canning, I guess, and a little bit of the original stock curve that kind of may cause some issues, but 'tis life. At least our wheel wells are centered now. Should allow a little bit more turning radius, even though it's still probably going to bind pretty good. But either way, it looks better to me, and that's what matters. So, and I'm going to have to grind some of these welds down. I don't know if I'll grind them down and smooth them out with Bondo or anything like that, simply because that's a lot of work. And I need to start painting it in a couple weeks with the hot rod black, which isn't a permanent color per se. So, and it's a rat rod. Let's be quite honest, people. This thing isn't going to be a show car anytime soon, so I probably won't do much finish work on it. Just get some stuff done and paint it up. But both sides are about like that. I came and finished welding this up. Same type of scenario, that there's a bow in the center. Now this one's probably a little bit better, but it's bowed from the stock curve, and I matched everything up, and I just wasn't thinking about it. I should have flattened everything out, but you know, maybe we can hammer and dolly it a little bit, but oh well. Rat rod, baby, let's go. I did get a little more recording done, but almost broke a second camera, which I was already kind of broken, so fun times. It's windy as all get out here today, and kind of was causing issues with my welding and everything. So all right, peace. Well, I lied. So I thought I was gonna call it a day, but it's this needed to be shortened, and the previous person that did this just chopped this section off to match up to the running board, and that way you didn't have a big piece just sitting there. I did not. As you can see, I chopped the bottom off and then raised that bottom part up and put the filler piece in. So now I have a nice little structural piece, because you got that down slope at the bottom that gives it some nice structure, and it's got that reinforcement plate on the bottom as well. I don't know if it's going to exactly mat up to the running board like it should, but I mean, these are crusty running boards, so, but as you can see, it looks pretty good. It's not secured together. The bottom will pull up on the running board a little bit more, but I mean, yeah, I mean, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, it's about where I'm expecting it to fit. I've got it kind of just held in place by one clamp, so maybe not exact, but as you can see, at least we are clearing the chrome on the wheel, and we've got it pretty much centered. So I still got to do the bottom on the other fender, but that's pretty much it, and then clean up and go from there. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this week's episode. As you saw, we got our fenders all welded up where they're centered now. So it's going to make the driving of the truck a lot more improved, just because we're not going to be hitting those fenders all the time trying to turn. So it might get a little better turning radius out of it. Plus it just looks better. I mean, it's something that it's pretty much stock the way it's supposed to be. So for a reason. But hey, lots more work to go before the power tour. Like I said, I'm trying to get this thing ready to paint. I'm just gonna, hot rod black it, so it's not gonna be perfect, but I would like to, get a few things done before we do that, and I'm gonna do it here in a couple weeks. So in the meantime, I'm gonna keep grinding on these fenders. I gotta fix one of the windows. I've gotta fix the hood still, and we'll go from there. Peace.
In my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping out.